Good evening, and welcome to the Modern Day MoBro. We have a very special evening for you tonight. I'm actually going to change my angle so it's got me and Nicole in it instead of just my closet behind me. So there's that. So tonight we will be talking with a good friend of mine, former roommate, Jono Vanscoyk. The Vanscoyks, him, his brother Alex, and Austin all are introduced me to one of the worst financial decisions of my life, which was crypto. Um, and yeah, we lost a lot of money over it, but that's okay. All you got to do is diamond hands, as they like to say. And so we're going to be talking with Jono about this and hearing kind of about some very crazy stuff that's happened over the last month, and also looking at going forward. What are we supposed to do? Jono is a day trader, real estate investor sort of guy. He's into finances. Jono is also one of the smartest people I know in a very unique way. I just absolutely love him and all the Vanscoyks. They're wonderful people. And so without further ado, let me bring in Jono. Hello, Jono? Jono, are you there? Maybe, maybe not.
Alrighty.
Jono! Look at you, you regular Alex Jones, you.
Yeah, I'm in the garage.
Welcome to the Modern Day MoBro. How are you doing
Yeah,
this evening?
good.
Good. I am just so excited to hear from you guys tonight. So,
Yeah.
yeah. How's Megan doing? I know there's been some family stuff going on.
Oh, it's she's good. Her brother's doing better. So they're
Uh,
just they're getting him patched up and hopefully he's out of the hospital before too long.
so for those of you that don't know Jono and his family, his wife's brother was in an accident and he's been in the hospital. And they've set up a GoFundMe for them, and I'll be posting a link for that with this podcast. So if anyone's able to support them or send any love, please do. I know that they're in our thoughts and prayers right now, and we're just worried about you guys. Not you specifically, Jono, because you're doing great and look wonderful, but she has been on my mind.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate that.
for sure. So I was just telling our audience that we're specifically talking about crypto today, and there has been just this really interesting world that's been going on with the implosion of one of the major exchanges, FTX, and specifically some stuff has been really interesting with their former CEO, SBF. Is that what his name is? SBF?
Yeah,
Um,
it's Sam Bankman-Fried, which is a
yeah,
lot to say, so everyone just calls him SBF.
absolutely. So, John, tell what happened.
So, that is a good question. I think they're still trying to really dig through it, but essentially, Sam Bankman-Fried is he's been in the crypto space for a couple years. I think he's Stanford grad, probably Stanford dropout, but um,
Probably.
both of his. In fact, maybe we should pull this up on Wikipedia to give a little background on him. But essentially, both of his parents are renowned legal, lawyers that teach law. Um, and he started FTX. So he's 30 years old. Says that he's an American entrepreneur, investor, and founder and former CEO of exchange FTX. He also founded Alameda Research, which is a quantitative cryptocurrency trading firm. And he also, let's see what else.
So he was connected to a ton of money.
Yeah, let's look at his. So he was born onto the campus at Stanford into a Jewish family. He's the son of Barbara Fried and Joseph Bankman, both professors at Stanford Law School. His aunt is the current dean of Columbia's School of Public Health. And then let's see, he attended Canada USA Math Camp, which is something I didn't even know existed.
It sounds like a wonderful place.
Yeah.
Wonderful time.
Let's see what else we have on him. Oh, he went to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So he's a very smart person, right?
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
make it in there. And anyways, the nuts and bolts of the collapse have to do with what probably almost a month ago, there started to be some talk of another exchange called Binance, and it has a entrepreneur named CZ. So
Okay.
Binance is almost as big as FTX. Well, it's actually probably bigger, but
Isn't Binance like the original exchange? Like they were like the first major crypto exchange. Am I correct in thinking that?
yeah, and so and that sees when we say ZZ, his name is Changpeng Zhao, and he lives in Dubai, and so
Sounds like a real
essentially,
winner.
yeah, so he lent the money to um SBF to start the exchange, and he was rewarded in tokens, these FTT tokens, to which everything on FTX was collateralized, right? That was supposed to be the profit share. Whenever FTX made money,
Okay.
it would go to the holders of the FTT token. And essentially, CZ decided that he was upset that SBF was lobbying behind his back on the crypto industry, and so he was going to dump his. Oh, I think he had 500 million tokens, or it was a nominal amount in the big scheme of things, but he was going to dump those tokens,
Okay.
and he threatened to do that. And so it started on a Monday night. On a Tuesday, the that FTT token began dropping.
Yeah.
And a lot of people theorized that he was selling it. And then Wednesday, it comes up and says, "Well, I'm not selling anymore. I might be acquiring FTX." So CZ was talking about buying it, but it was a non-binding agreement.
Yeah.
And that lasted exactly, I don't know, maybe 3 days before he started looking at the books and the problems at FTX and said, "No, no way, I'm out of this." And
Okay.
then I know by Thursday, there was talks about how there was no more money in FTX, and people
Which
the
can we just press pause just for a second,
yeah.
because I was watching today the SBF interview after all of this goes down that we're talking about right here. SBF just got interviewed earlier this week, and he kept insisting that FTX US is totally like all backed with money.
Solvent.
Yeah, totally solvent. And the whole time he kept saying that, I kept thinking, you're a freaking liar. But
Well, he might. I mean, I don't know whether or not he's telling the truth on that. He might be. But the FTX.US and FTX for the rest of the world probably were run differently, right? And I
that's
don't know if
definitely
that
what he
was
made it sound.
I don't know if that was his design to simply because there was regulations in the United States that he didn't want to run afoul of, or what. But it seems like the majority of the embezzlement, I guess, for lack of a better word, happened from the FTX global, not the FTX.US.
Yeah. Okay.
But
So sorry to interrupt. Back to the story.
anyways, basically that Thursday and Friday were the last days that people could pull any money out of the accounts, and then
Yeah, because I
Friday.
tried to pull out Saturday.
Well, yeah, you were a few days ahead,
Yeah,
but because
but
you
it was
didn't
too
go
late.
to your wallet, you tried to go, to ACH deposit. I don't think it ever made it,
No, I
or
never
who
did.
knows if it ever will.
Yeah,
But
it's all gone.
anyways, the once bankruptcy was declared, that's when things got real crazy, because essentially right after, I think bankruptcy was declared on Friday, and then Friday night somebody goes in and they steal all the tokens, and
That's just
um,
that's just nuts.
right from that was held on the exchange on the wallet. And I think was it $300 million worth of Ethereum. So all the stuff that hadn't been, I guess, embezzled into FTT tokens or other stuff that was left on the exchange was stolen. And as far as I know, it's still bouncing around. That they know the wallets that it's in because everything is tracked in crypto, but they don't know who has it or
Who owns the wallets per se?
yeah, who owns the wallets or what their intentions are with it.
It's insane. So essentially, SBF went from being a guy that was worth like $15 billion to
Right.
being bankrupt and wanted. Like,
Right. And I think so when we talk about his wealth, the majority of his wealth was probably tied up in those FTT tokens, right?
yeah,
Who knows how many he had, but if he was worth billions, I think the FTT token was trading around $30 a token or whatever.
yeah.
So he probably had, hundreds of millions of those FTT tokens. And yeah, that's all gone probably.
This guy living in the Bahamas with 9 other super geeks, having just a crazy party with their polyamorous relationships, and then this all implodes and he goes
Yeah.
missing. It's
No,
nuts.
it's a wild story. They obviously they were living in, 30-40 million dollar homes. Um, he was supposedly vegan. He
He looks
encouraged.
vegan. When I look at the guy, I think, oh, you're one of these people that's you know, definitely takes some things a little too seriously that he probably doesn't need to be taken seriously.
Right. I guess they were using a lot of stimulants too. Can't remember exactly, but a lot of Adderall and other things. And I hear as part of the new employee orientation when somebody would show up to the Bahamas to work for him, part of it was, stimulants, and I think he
Wow.
encourage the use and even probably paid for them.
Well, it's definitely a thing that we're seeing all over the place right now is Adderall. I mean, it's legalized. It's not meth, but it's a methamphetamine. So yeah, I guess it's legalized meth. Um, it's nuts. So
So and we, I mean, it's a developing story. Like, he's SBF has been on the media a lot lately. I think he's probably talked to 4 or 5 different uh, you know, news groups, or he's been live on Twitter, and his basic run right now is that he didn't know what was going on. He feels terrible about what happened to people.
he's definitely
There's a lot,
saying that. Yeah. Do you believe
there's a
it?
lot of questions he won't answer, and he thinks that he's being evasive. So I don't know. I think that we will see the fallout for this will probably last for years,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the story will probably get crazier as we find out more details.
This is for sure going to be a Netflix special. There's no way this
Yeah,
isn't. Like
probably a
it's
series,
right.
multiple seasons.
Like there's definitely like a full arc of like this went nuts. Like everyone was rich to now it's down and now you're it's crazy. Do you think so? Yeah. Do you think that he? Because yeah, his story is I didn't realize this was as bad as it was until the crap hit the fan. Do When I watched it, I thought you're a freaking liar. But maybe
Right.
you're definitely much more informed in this world than I am.
I
But
don't know. I think it would be crazy to believe that he didn't know. I mean, essentially the whole is $8 billion.
yeah,
And the accusation is that he took when somebody would go and deposit crypto in there, like Ethereum or Bitcoin or anything on his
yeah,
exchange, right? He as his hedge fund Alameda began to lose money,
yeah,
he would take that Bitcoin and he would create a liquid protocol. So liquid protocol would be like, Bitcoin in US dollar or
yeah,
Bitcoin and whatever. He would go and create those, and then he would somehow mix that with the FTT
yeah.
tokens, and he would move it out of the exchange and over to Alameda where they needed capital. So that's the accusation. How many people it would take to do that, and what he would know, I don't know. But
Yeah.
it's
Well,
certainly
it's definitely interesting because this is the sort of thing that I don't know. I just felt like there's no way that FTX is not the biggest exchange. Like, so an exchange, for those that don't know what an exchange, it's a place that you can go and buy parts of crypto. You don't actually own it, but you kind of like invest in it. It's either way.
right. And this
And
this is a centralized exchange, which means they allow you to purchase crypto with what they call fiat, right? So US dollars, you can take your dollars, you can go to FTX and you can buy other types of crypto.
yeah,
Or on the other side, you can take that crypto and sell it and take those dollars back and, use them for whatever you want back into your
and
bank.
and that's the game right there. But this was a major company. Like they owned the Miami Heat's um arena is FTX Arena. Like it was backed by Tom Brady, who lost, what was it, almost $700 million in this.
Yeah, it's kind of made it sound like he put his life fortune into it. I hope that's not true, but it kind of sounded like he did.
I know that I had more savings in there than I should have, and there were a lot of other celebrities that had also been backing FTX, and so it felt like, to me, this felt like a not the safest exchange, which I would view as Coinbase, but like a number 2 or 3. And apparently
Right.
I was wrong on that.
Well, in my opinion, and obviously none of this is financial advice, but I don't think any of the exchanges are particularly safe
Yeah.
because you don't when you don't have crypto that's in your own wallet, ultimately somebody else has custody. And
And this
you
can
know,
happen.
right. And considering there's not a lot of regulation with crypto anyways, this type of thing can happen and does happen. And one of the real interesting things that's come out of this is when FTX went into bankruptcy, the CEO that took over was the same guy that dealt with Enron and a lot of these other, companies that are, collapsing due to
Yeah.
negligence, fraud. And he said that FTX was far worse than Enron or anything else. They didn't have, a real accounting department. They didn't have any, financial controls really.
Which I totally believe after learning more about
Yeah.
SBF, that he was doing like $20 million deals while playing World of Warcraft, or
Right.
just
And
like, how do you do this?
and I think anytime he needed money, he would just take his FTT tokens that are floating around, right?
Yeah.
Go cash out as many of them as he needed to complete a deal and do it that way. And it's real interesting that, well, first of all, he's donated a lot to both parties. It came out that he donated something like 70 million to the Democrats, and
It's a lot of
then
money.
he also donated 30 million to the Republicans through a super PAC or something. But it was dark money.
Now, this is worth talking about a little bit, bringing up politics, and I don't know the intimate details of this. So, but from what I had heard via like Joe Rogan, was
Uh-huh.
that Ukraine had put a lot of money into FTX, which had then come out of FTX into the Democratic Party as well. I don't know
Well,
as if
so and I don't know exactly how that would work either, but I know so when the war in Ukraine started, they had a bunch of charities that wanted to donate right to the war effort. They don't want to donate their crypto.
yeah.
So I think FTX was doing custody for that. I think possibly Ukraine, they might have been buying their own crypto. I don't really know about that, right?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, that crypto that was in everybody's account was going back to the political parties.
Yeah.
So and it was backed by depositors funds, which is a really frightening thing that everybody that deposited money, liked or not, it was going to
To political
political
stuff.
favors, you know, uh,
Insane.
yeah, lavish lifestyles, really anything that, expensive real estate in the Bahamas, all of that was being commingled and likely used.
Wow. This world we live in. Man, that 8% interest had me hook, line, and sinker. I should not have trusted it. So either way, we don't have a mountain of time before my recording's up, but I did kind of want to ask you. So obviously this is a lesson learned, like learn from this to be cautious.
Right.
But going forward, what should we expect from crypto? Is this all gonna someday take over as the future of money, or what?
I don't know if it'll ever replace money. I think where you see the real value in crypto is blockchain, right?
Okay,
This ability to have this ledger, something that can be recorded forever, right? Verified by computers that it happened when it happened and what happened happened.
Okay.
is valuable. I don't know. I mean, there's obviously like as far as an investor in crypto, I've somewhat been a failure. Like I've definitely not made any money at it.
No, I lost all. Yeah, I've lost all
Yeah,
my
I've
money
had a
that I
lot of fun,
invested.
and so I wouldn't want this to be construed as any sort of financial advice, but I do think
Oh no, for sure
that,
not.
but I think crypto is interesting. I think a lot of countries are taking Bitcoin on. So Brazil, for instance, I think is in the process of recognizing Bitcoin as a currency,
Okay.
and there's a lot of other countries, especially like if you're a um, country that usually has banking problems and problems with inflation and things like that. Crypto can be a real useful tool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wonder if that, I think that you're going to see more adaptation in the future from that. So, I think blockchains in and of themselves have value. So there are tokens that I like, anything that is gas. And to explain what gas is like, if you're going to use the Ethereum blockchain, whether that's to buy an NFT or to, take it, complete a transaction, trade your crypto, anything where you're changing ownership, you have to use a gas fee
Yeah.
for that blockchain. And Ethereum it's probably the most decentralized, but it's one of the more expensive ones too. You're typically, I don't know, back in the heyday when crypto was really expensive, you would pay $40-$50 to run
To
one transaction.
just to move it.
Yeah, and it's gotten a lot better lately, but I think you're still paying $2 to $3 these days, right? And it has to do with how congested the network is and the value of Ethereum and all these other things.
Yeah.
But I believe that those type of tokens have value. I like Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
Seems like
Well, it seems like that's the safest one. If I had to buy one, it would probably be Bitcoin, just because I know
well,
it's not
it
gonna.
it seems like I mean, it's lost 75% of its value,
Yeah.
but
From its high.
it doesn't seem like it's losing as much value. So I don't know. And Bitcoin is not, it's funny. It's by itself, it doesn't necessarily have any use. It's like a little award that you completed a math puzzle,
Yeah.
but it's a very hard to solve math puzzle, and um, it seems to hold value there. So um, yeah, I think Bitcoin's good, and I think we'll just have to see. Crypto, I don't think crypto's ever going to completely disappear. I don't think everyone's going to say, you know what, this is a bad idea. Let's just go back to using dollars.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
think,
I mean, what is money, right?
right.
It is the value that we put into it. And so
Well,
in
I
that
think
sense,
I think central banks, they're and each country's trying to create its own currency,
yeah.
and whether or not people like using that, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
But there's also decentralized dollars and a lot of other options out there.
It's interesting. And I I think that it is I I like and I don't like what crypto is, right? I like that it's not regulated by the government. I like that it's its own thing. I like that now not all cryptos are this way, but I like in Bitcoin that we're not going to see more Bitcoin. Like what exists. They're not going to print more. They're not going to make
Right.
more.
I think there's only like it's 90% of it's been mined. So there's only, I think they said 2 million tokens left to be added to the supply, and then it'll be done.
Yeah, like,
So, and
and
that
in that
doesn't mean
sense,
that people can't use it. It just means that we'll all be trading small fractions of it if it takes off.
yeah.
You
Well,
know,
and I agree. I guess a question I have, and there's no way to know, is did we just see the peak of crypto, or will there be higher highs in the future? And
that's the $1 million question. I mean, I've seen both, right? I've seen people that say that crypto's on its way down. It was all a scam. If you were to ask Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger about crypto, that's probably what they would tell you.
okay,
Um,
I wonder what Alex would say.
yeah, or I don't know what else to say. But at the same time, you see, JP Morgan Chase, Fidelity, all these other companies that are just starting to get into it, right? They're starting to offer these tokens, and in a way, they're still centralized, right?
Yeah,
You tell them like, hey, I want to invest in Bitcoin or Polygon or any of these other tokens. I think they hold them for you. So, in my opinion, that is the wrong way to do crypto. I think you're better off holding it in your own wallet.
hold it
Um,
yourself and have control of it yourself.
yeah, have control of the keys. and not be centralized. I think Bitcoin kind of or crypto in general seems to punish people that try and centralize it.
Yeah, that does seem to be where funny things can happen. So, well, this has just been a fascinating topic that, Jono and I are both in a group chat that we talk about crypto like all day, every day, and it's very interesting.
Yeah,
And
it's been a wild month. A lot of times there's nothing that's been happening for the last couple of months, but this month has been crazy.
this year has just been a lot of down, down, down. Like I just feel like I've just keep watching money just disappear. And then this year or this month it just all exploded and went all the way. But who's to say that that it won't come back in the future? Because I think that there is a place for it. But either way, Jono, I really loved having this. Is there anything else that we should be talking about? I've got about 3 minutes before we run out of recording time.
Not that I can think of. I think we pretty well covered it. So,
well, I look forward to having you on again when something crazy comes up, or I'd love to talk aliens with you sometime. But
yeah, we'll have to do that.
I definitely want to do that for one of our podcasts. But either way, I really appreciate you. We just love your family. I love your wife and kids. They're wonderful. Let's get together sometime.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Hey, you have a good evening, buddy. One love.